One of the important skills to know to be a Google great searcher is to pay attention to the things that we see on the left-hand side of the display. There's a lot of tools over there, and I'm going to show you just a couple of them today. If we look here on the left-hand side, you'll see that there's options to change the kind of corpus, the kind of content you're looking at. You can click here to change to search images, maps, videos, and so on. But in addition, there's this tab right here, this option to say More Search Tools. What this does is it opens up another subpanel like that, which has a whole bunch of other options. Today we're just going to explore this one about looking at limiting results by time. Let me demonstrate this by showing you a search for, say, the laws involving fugu preparation. Now you may not know this, but fugu is the kind of fish that's used in Japan and very high-end sushi. And you might want to know about those laws. And in particular, you might have heard that there have been some changes recently. So here, if we click now on More Search Tools, I can now limit my search in time, that is, the results that are returned that were published during a particular time period. So for example, I can look at just the past month to see if there's been anything here, and you'll see the blue bar appears at the top indicating that we've restricted the results to only results published during the past month. Now there's a bunch of things you can do here in addition to that. You can, for example, limit it to the past year or the past 24 hours. This isn't quite the same as news, but it's websites and web content that have been updated in the past 24 hours. So it kind of blends over into the news domain a little bit. And we can do things to change by custom range. Now I can get rid of this time restriction by clicking up here at the top on any time, or I can close this blue bar by clicking on the X right there. In both cases, it takes me back to the general search, fugu preparation laws, over this particular time period, which is right now, all time. Now I want to show you how to use the same technique to do another kind of search. Let's search for what people were thinking about the World Cup selection in 2022. Let's figure out who the host was. It's pretty simple to check the web results to see who the host will be in 2022, but let's go back in our time machine and see what people were thinking back then. Under More Search Tools, the Show Search Tools option here, you see I can select Custom Range. I click on that. I can now use this widget to click back in time, back to September 1st, 2010. And now I can select, say, I'm going to type this one in, 1/1/2011. So to the 1st of 2011. And now you can see these results are from the web as it was back in that time span, from September 1st, 2010 to January 1st, 2011. You can imagine all kinds of reasons why you might want to do this, to get a sense for what people were writing, what the notion of the time was. You can also use this same trick to move back in time for news. So if I click now on the left-hand panel under News, we can see that that same time restriction, September 1, 2010 to January 1, 2011, holds, in this case, over the news corpus. You can go back and search to see what people were writing about in the news at that time. Let me give you another example of this. I'm going to go back to the web search. I'm going to then do a search that's a little bit closer to home for me. So, for example, I might want to get information about the 14th Congressional District election in California. So if I do a query like that, I get a bunch of results. That's appropriate, but I'm really interested in just the results from 2011. So I'm going to do the same kind of time restriction I did before to 12/31/2011, and I start to see the results here. So here, there's a couple of tricks to note. First off, I've used the term CA here. That's the state name, but maybe what you want to use is something like or California. You see what's going on? I'm now synonymizing the term CA with California, and I'm starting to get a richer set of results there. Finally, I can also combine that with that in-text operator we saw before which requires that a particular term be used here. So in text and say the name of a congressman like Eshoo. So now I'm getting results about the 14th district election from 2011 requiring the use of a particular term and using synonyms for CA or California. So with the time restriction operation on the left-hand panel, you can limit your time to dates, weeks, months. You can vary it however you want to do to focus your search in different kinds of corpora. You can use the image time restriction, news time restriction, or all of the web time restriction.